No, you were right. Of course I was right. I'm mostly always right when it comes to this team. I followed them since day one. But what particularly are you talking about, Jersey guy? Are you talking about the fact that I knew they would lose to Vegas? I never said by how much or if it would be in regulation, overtime, or a shootout, but I knew they were going to lose on a back-to-back situation. No, not that. I was referring to how they scored too many goals on Friday in Anaheim and played their goalies in the wrong order. Oh yeah, that too. Thanks for the reminder. Preds lose 5-4 in overtime Saturday afternoon versus the Vegas Golden Knights inside T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada, also known as an unincorporated town right next door to Las Vegas, Nevada. Preds finish off a 2-week stretch of a 6-pack of games, just like me and any other reasonable Preds fans knew it would happen, with the exception of the miracle win against Edmonton, beating teams that they should in Chicago and Anaheim, and losing to every other high-quality playoff team. The end of the calendar year that is 2022 can't come soon enough for this Preds team that has now lost 9 of its last 12. Oh, and let the fun continue, because after a quick pit stop back home to see family, fuel up, and have one home game against Montreal, a 5-game road trip should finally solidify for everybody else who may think that this team has a chance. Does indeed have no chance of making the playoffs. On the last day of 2022, of course, the Preds would do what we've all grown accustomed to them doing. In a game, they have a goal or a multi-goal lead in a game, then they fall behind by a goal or a multi-goal deficit, only to come back, use all their strength, all their muster to get the game tied and go into overtime, only to lose in overtime or a shootout. As I pointed out, after the Colorado loss just before Christmas, when they lost to the Avs in overtime, with this overtime loss, the Preds now have 5 of their 6 loser points where they had a lead in. That total cannot be that high if you want to be a playoff team. A team can go 0-82 and still miss the playoffs because you need to be well above the 95-point bar. You have to have an over 500 record in regulation, and you probably are going to need an over 500 record in overtime or a shootout if you want to have enough cushion to be a playoff team come April. And let me not leave out that now 35 games into the season, the Preds have still not recorded a shutout, and they're getting closer and closer to team records in that drought. Yes, there's a handful of teams in the NHL that have also not recorded a shutout because scoring is up in the NHL. But that number of other teams that have not recorded a shutout is slowly dwindling. Let us hope the Preds are not the last ones at the table to cash out in that stat. As for this game, I was impressed. I thought maybe the Preds have something here when Philip Forsberg and then Jeremy Lauzon's first of the season gave the Preds a 2-0 lead in the first. If they can just get out of this period, maybe they can get the back-to-back sweep of these 2 games. Well, that feeling was quickly deflated when Kosler scored with just about 4 minutes left to go in the first. It's like, yep, Preds don't have enough of a cushion after 1. I can totally see Vegas coming back to win this game. Michael Amadio and Riley Smith would score to give Vegas a 3-2 lead in the second period, with neither team really dominating in shots, but something just told me, something just clicked in my brain that the Preds were not going to have it in this game. Chandler Stevenson, 5 minutes into the third period, would seemingly put Vegas home and cool up 4-2 in this game, and I thought, yeah, this game was done. I can't see the Preds overcoming a 2-goal deficit on the road against Vegas, who, despite their injuries, is a much better team than the last team the Preds came back from a 2-goal deficit in the third period in the Vancouver Canucks. Preds still have enough talent, I guess, with a mitigated Vegas Golden Knights roster to compete somehow. And about 8 minutes left to go in regulation, the Preds would cut into Vegas's 2-goal lead, Forsberg's second of the season. Vegas's lead is now down to 4-3. Then Riley Smith decides to high stick Philip Forsberg with just over a minute left to go in regulation, along with Nashville pulling Kevin Lankinen, I didn't really have any trust in the Preds power play. Yeah, it has been better as of late, but under pressure with under 60 seconds left to go on the road, I didn't think any much of it that they would be able to convert. Through the first portion of the power play, Vegas able to ice the puck to their heart's content since they're killing a penalty, but under 10 seconds, Preds rush the zone. There's a shot, and there's Phil Forsberg to complete the hat trick, getting it by Logan Thompson, tying this game amazingly at 4. Overtime was just a formality because just over a minute in, the Preds take a penalty, and the Preds cannot gain possession of the puck to stop the whistle. Vegas is basically able to set up a power play chance, and they wouldn't get credited with a power play goal on the box score as you would see, but essentially it was because the Preds couldn't gain possession. Vegas is able to cycle and set up to their heart's content, and finally Nicholas Haig's blast is his second goal of the season. Vegas walks off this win with a 5-4 score. Along with this streak of 9 losses in your last 12 games, of your 6 loser points you've now compiled, 5 of them have been in games where you had a lead in regulation. That amount has to be smaller. Your losing streaks have to be shorter, and your winning streaks have to be much more sustainable, like the stretch of 7 of 9 that you went through in early December. After the quick stop back home where you face Montreal on Tuesday, this team will set off on a 5-game East Coast road trip with 2 sets of back-to-backs, where I honestly think Lankinen should get one of each of the 2 back-to-backs to give Saros deserved rest. Washington, Carolina is a coin flip whether you give Lankinen against Washington or against Carolina, but most definitely with the Montreal-Toronto back-to-back, Lankinen should definitely get Montreal. Kind of like how Lankinen should have gotten Anaheim. 1 game at a time, but let me set you off into 2023 on a positive note. I just did the NHL Draft Simulator, which most of us will start to do as we progress into 2023, and right now the Preds would finish with the 12th pick overall. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption. 2023 is finally here. Let it bless the Preds with a really good draft lottery pick come April. Not barely make the playoffs and fail to make the second round yet again, or just fall out just short of the playoffs and with decreased chances of a decent lottery pick to improve this roster long term.